Greetings, humans. It's me, Bob Harris, senior editor of FootballDiehards.com. It's week 4, time for the injury review, preview, update, overview thing we like to do every Saturday. And man, 2020 keeps coming at us like a tornado of teeth and fingernails bent on our destruction. Man. We'll get through the scheduling issues. That's the big story at the top right here, just to get you up to speed. You can dig in deeper on the details on all these on the website. Have in-depth articles on all this. So, but just to set the table, the Steelers-Titans game originally scheduled for Sunday has been postponed to week 7. So essentially the Steelers and Titans are both on bye this week. This will mean the Ravens bye week moves from week 8 to week 7. So keep that in mind. Also, the Patriots-Chiefs game is being delayed until Monday or Tuesday after Cam Newton tested positive for COVID-19. He's been put on the reserve list. The Chiefs practice squad quarterback Jordan Ta'amu also on the COVID-19 reserve list, not coincidentally. So they're still working out the plans. The hope is they play Monday, more likely Tuesday. Remember, that was initially the plan with the Steelers-Titans, but the ongoing positive testing forced them to move the game altogether. We'll see if that's the outcome here. Also, with the Kansas City game moving away from Sunday, that left only 2 games in the late afternoon kickoff window, the 4 p.m. window. So the NFL is moving the Bears and Colts from the 1 p.m. Kickoff window to the 4 p.m. So they'll still have 3 games in the late afternoon window. So, again, Steelers-Titans won't play this week. Their game is moved to week 7. Patriots-Chiefs, currently scheduled for Monday or Tuesday. We'll see if it comes off. Ravens, bye week will go from week 8 to week 7. Bears-Colts, move to late afternoon. All right, before we dig into the injuries, and look, this is a big hassle, right? You're going to have to work through it, grind on it, go out and work your waiver wire, set your lineups accordingly, assume that, have fallback plans in place, through as late as you can for especially this, the Chiefs-Patriots game. And look, the Saints have ruled out 6 players this week. I mean, it's not like this, it's unheard of for a lot of players to miss games. This is a lot more than usual, right? But, these are the times we live in. So grind through it, deal with it. Keep an eye on the late breaking update section for more on the schedule changes and on the injury issues I'm about to announce. I know the Monday night injury report is not out yet. There's a lot of players on it. So if anything major changes from what I talk about here, you'll find it in the headline news section. You'll also find it on the splash page of this video. So when you're accessing this video, just kind of look at the page and make sure nothing major has changed. We'll have it right there on that page as well. So I'll go back to the Jets and Broncos. Sam Darnold hurt his throwing shoulder in that game. He came back and finished, but his status going forward seems a little uncertain. Drew Lock did not play. Brett Rypien played good and bad, both in his absence. So we'll see. Locke is considered 50-50 to play next week. Noah Fant suffered an ankle injury that may cost him a week or 2 as well. So let's move into this week's, tomorrow, Sunday's games and get this figured out. And maybe Monday's, Tuesday's games. I don't know. So we'll start out. The Michael Thomas and Jared Cook are among those ruled out for the Saints. I mentioned 6 players ruled out. Thomas with the high ankle sprain, Cook with the groin issue. They're playing at Detroit. There's like 4 defenders. Both cornerbacks, Marshawn Lattimore and Janoris Jenkins, are out of this game. Marcus Davenport, defensive end, also defensive tackle. Andrews Pete, the offensive guard as well. So a lot of guys out for the Saints as they seem to be playing the long game here. Thomas's case, he's practiced each of the last 2 weeks and reportedly has moved well, but hasn't showed enough to get on the field for the game. So Traquan Smith, Emmanuel Sanders, Alvin Kamara, all those guys will be good plays against Detroit, and the Lions might be good plays as well. Arizona Cardinals traveling to Carolina with DeAndre Hopkins suddenly questionable. He didn't practice all week on an ankle injury. We didn't hear about it until Wednesday. Christian Kirk has been limited by the same groin injury that sidelined him last week. If one or either or both of those guys miss this game, maybe Andy Isabella rises up a little bit. I know he's, very popular guy after last week's performance, but it was a very narrow band of targets, so that's something not to get too far in front of him. I'm not saying don't roster him. I'm just saying be careful, and his role is going to depend. Keyshawn Johnson was on the field a heck of a lot more than Andy Isabella last week. So will be game time decisions on both DeAndre Hopkins and Christian Kirk. Hopkins has only missed 2 games in 115 career games. So I talked to Bob McManaman of the Arizona Republic last night. He said it seems really uncertain in this case. The GM, Steve Kibe, said he would bet on Hopkins playing, but that's just given his history. So we'll find out more Sunday morning in the 90 minutes leading up to kickoff. You'll want to definitely check on that one. I'll have some overnight info on that too. If you want to check like middle of the night, Saturday, early Sunday morning, we'll kind of know what direction that's trending. And with all these players, I usually do early updates as much as possible, and the insider information starts leaking out overnight Saturday. For the Carolina Panthers, everyone's playing except Christian McCaffrey, of course, and Mike Davis has been doing a very solid job filling in for him, and will continue to do that. Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. Leonard Fournette's out with an ankle injury. Chris Godwin out with a hamstring injury. Will probably miss next week's game too, so watch out for that one. They have a Thursday night game, so the short turnaround is probably not going to be good news for him. Scotty Miller listed as questionable with hip and groin injuries. So, I mean, look, this is a tough week, right, with the schedule changes and everything going on. Maybe you want to get a Justin Watson or even a Tyler Johnson on your roster. The receivers beyond the top guys, maybe Keyshawn Vaughn gets a little run in this offense, although I wouldn't get too excited about the backfield here. On the other side of the ball, Mike Williams and Tyrod Taylor have been ruled out. Mike Williams has a hamstring injury. Justin Herbert will continue to start and hopefully continue to throw the hell out of the ball to Keenan Allen, who's gotten a ton of targets ever since Herbert took over. Everyone viable plays there, that you would want to play Austin Eckler. Justin Jackson will be back, though, so maybe that slows Joshua Kelly's role a little bit. The Jacksonville Jaguars host the Cincinnati Bengals, and this one's a little trickier because as of Saturday morning, Joe Mixon was added to the injury report as questionable with a chest injury. Hadn't been on the injury report. There had been no reporting on this prior to Saturday morning, so that's definitely one to watch. As we get closer to kickoff, I'll be having more on that. So watch the main page of the site. Mostly overnight, I'll have some of the local observers to see what their thoughts are. But Mixon's a player to watch and a player you'll have to verify his active status in the 90 minutes leading up to kickoff. Steven Hauschka was signed to replace Brandon Wright, the kicker who is replacing Josh Lambo, who's on IR. Hauschka is listed as questionable. Seems likely that he'll play. I think they added another player to the practice squad just in case, but that's one to watch as well. The Seattle Seahawks traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins in what we hope will be a huge scoring fest because neither team plays much defense, right? Chris Carson listed as questionable with the knee sprain. He had his knee twisted against the Cowboys last week. He's practiced on a limited basis all week. Pete Carroll has sounded very optimistic. This is one you'll want to watch in the 90 minutes leading up to, as well as Carlos Hyde, his likely replacement, right? He has a shoulder injury. Pete Carroll says they basically took it easy on him. He was limited in practice all week, wore a no-contact jersey. Pete Carroll basically hinted that it was his insurance in case Carson can't go. So this is the same Pete Carroll that said Chris Carson had a great week of practice. So this one's totally up in the air. Other running backs are there, Travis Homer and DJ Dallas, the rookie. So that'll be one to watch going into this game. The passing attacks for both teams are the things that are of most interest to people. Tua Tagovailoa. You have to be careful when you say that; it'll hurt yourself. Is listed as questionable, backup quarterback, non-COVID related illness. Kareem Hunt listed as questionable against the Cowboys. Has a groin injury, did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. Got back on the field Friday on a limited basis. Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland Plain Dealer reports it's not believed to be serious. They did promote Dontrell Hilliard, though, from the practice squad, so that's one to watch in the 90 minutes leading up to kickoff as well. Odell Beckham off the injury report. Jarvis Landry off the injury report. I don't know that either of them are healthy. Beckham has a back issue that limited him on Thursday, but he worked fully Friday. Landry's been working fully, but seems like he's still working his way back from that hip surgery. Should be a big offensive game, though, right? Aren't we all excited about that? Neither team playing much defense. For the Washington football team facing the Baltimore Ravens at home, Terry McLaurin added the injury report on Thursday. He is now questionable with a thigh issue. Steven Sims Jr. has been ruled out with this lingering toe issue. He played through it last week. Guys like Antonio Gandy-Golden would move up in the rotation. Dontrell Inman, obviously, but it's a tough matchup, really tough. For the Indianapolis Colts, Michael Pittman Jr. is out. He was placed on IR earlier Saturday. Trey Burton was promoted from the practice squad. Maybe Zach Pascal is the guy that's, rises up the radar a little bit due to this. I'm not sure if anyone should be digging that deep, but then again, there's a lot of teams not playing right now. So that's one to maybe investigate a little bit if you want. I'll have full articles up on all these on Saturday as well. Tariq Cohen, of course, for the Bears, and this game was moved to the late afternoon window, so watch for that. Tariq Cohen on IR. He's done for the year. The Bears added Lamar Miller to the practice squad. We'll find out if they promote him this afternoon. Otherwise, though, expect David Montgomery, Ryan Nall. They promoted Artavis Pierce from the practice squad. Cordero Patterson could chip in there as well. Going on forward, the other late afternoon games. Cam Akers is ruled out against the Giants, so more Darrell Henderson people. Get him in your lineups. Malcolm Brown's still in the mix, but Henderson has kind of established himself in the lead role as of now, and it's a good matchup. Zach Moss going against the Las Vegas Raiders in Las Vegas, listed as questionable. On the other side of the ball, Henry Ruggs is listed as doubtful, and Brian Edwards is completely ruled out. So Nelson Aguilar and Zay Jones, Hunter Renfrow, likely the top downfield threats along with Darren Waller for the Raiders in this one. John Brown was on the injury report earlier this week. He has been removed or was removed. He missed the second half of last week with a calf injury, so that's one to watch. We'll see if Moss can get in there and contribute, but Devin Singletary fared pretty well. Sunday night's game, the Eagles at the 49ers. The Eagles have no healthy wide receivers. They're hurting a little bit, and their offensive line woes are getting worse. I'll just run through it. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is listed as doubtful. Expect him to not play. Deshaun Jackson ruled out. Alshon Jeffrey ruled out. So John Hightower and Greg Ward are the two healthy wide receivers. They have made some practice squad adjustments or are planning to on Saturday promote some players. So you might want to watch that. With Dallas Goedert already out, Richard Rodgers moves up behind Zach Ertz in the rotation. They promoted Hakeem Butler, a converted wide receiver, to the active roster as well. So, and offensive line issues continue as Jason Peters was placed on IR today. So they got a lot of issues there. And on the other side of the ball, it's not all clean. Jimmy Garoppolo out. Nick Mullins will start again. Raheem Mostert out again. Tevin Coleman still on IR. So Jerick McKinnon and Jeff Wilson will be the top running backs there. That's one to watch, of course. Jordan Reed on IR, injured the knee last week. George Kittle, though, back ready to go. Says he's ready to tear it up. And also, Deebo Samuel will play. It sounds like a limited role, but he did practice this week, and Kyle Shanahan said they will ease him back into the rotation. So that's worth watching there. Monday night game. Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, both working on a limited basis this week. Julio Jones, missed last week with the hamstring. So we'll see if he can get back. Seems like he's closer. Ridley has an ankle injury. The injury report will be out there. Russell Gage, is listed as worked fully. He's coming off a concussion. So we'll see if he can get back in the mix. It seems likely that he will after he worked fully Friday. And Young-Ho Kim, the kicker, will be, it's very pessimistic. It seems unlikely to kick. They've made some additions to the practice squad. Elliott Fry seems like the most likely replacement there. On the other side of the ball, Alan Lazard is out, had core muscle surgery, played through the issue last week, played really well. But he's out and will probably miss a month. Devontae Adams, still dicey with his hamstring issue. It's said to be a minor pull, but obviously they held him out last week even though he made the trip. So they have a bye next week, so it might be wise to hold them out if they can. That's when you'll have to watch. I'll have more on all the Monday night players later on Saturday, so check the main page of the site. If there are any major developments, if anyone's ruled out or anything like that, watch the splash page of this video. We'll put that up there. And of course, for Monday night, we'll find out, or Monday or Tuesday night, the Patriots, Cam Newton will not play no matter when the game is played, if it's played this week, because he is on the COVID reserve list right now. So he has to isolate for a set amount of time, and that won't allow him to get back. Brian Hoyer would be the likely starter if the game is played. Sony Michel, Julian Edelman listed as questionable. I would expect both to play. Damian Harris could be back, but we'll find that out. James White will definitely be back. Coming off a 2-week absence for personal reasons. So there we go. That was a little convoluted because there was a lot going on and there's still a lot of moving pieces. So this kind of sets the table. And I'll remind you again, check back to the headline news section of the site for any changes to anything I've just talked about, including the schedule, because that could still be in flux too, especially with the Patriots and Chiefs. We'll see how that one plays out. Tons of other content up available as well. Tons of videos. I'll be doing an Ask Me Anything that you can rewatch the replay to that I do 4 p.m. live every Saturday. So if you want to catch that and ask me questions, I do that every Saturday at 4 p.m. We have our DFS lineup shows also available. There will be one Saturday, late Saturday. There's one from Wednesday night. There's also a lineup show live on Sunday morning. So catch that. Catch me on the SiriusXM Fantasy pregame show from 11 to 1 p.m. and I'll have all the late breaking news, and we'll have it on the site as well. Everything goes through the headline news section. So if there's anything you need to know, you will find it there, and hopefully this set the table to get you there. Good luck this week, people. I think we're all going to need it.